The following is a paid program by the Whitley Law Firm. Welcome to Attorneys on Call, the program that gives you free legal information from the Whitley Law Firm. Now, here's your host, Drew Smith.
And if you're joining us for the very first time, welcome to this edition of Attorneys on Call. We think you're going to like the next half hour, 30 minutes jam-packed with free legal information for you. And at any time during this program, you can call the 800 number on your screen or go to whitleylawfirm.com, and that is free legal information, either one of those two places. You might have a personal injury case that you're contemplating right now. You might have been injured in an automobile accident, or you might even have been a pedestrian that was hit by a vehicle. We're going to talk about that some today. And then also, if you've been injured on the job and have a workers' compensation claim, the Whitley Law Firm can certainly help you. Social Security disability, another area of practice for the Whitley Law Firm. So once again, at any time, call the 800 number on your screen, go to whitleylawfirm.com. One of the attorneys will be getting back to you. In studio with us is Ben Whitley and Ann Oxner of the Whitley Law Firm. Great to see both of you.
Good to be here, Drew.
Ben, let's talk a little bit about what your firm does in representing people around the state of North Carolina. I sort of just kind of mentioned the tip of the iceberg there, but there are a lot of areas of practice that you participate in.
Right, and we represent people. We don't represent businesses or insurance companies, or we don't practice any other type of law except for the law of helping people that have been hurt, that have been wronged, that may have a claim with the government for benefits. We help people deal with insurance companies and powerful interests. And people can be hurt in lots of different ways. We've talked a little bit about it on the show before. Pedestrian claims, we see that, and some of those are some of the more unfortunate cases that we work on. People can certainly, across North Carolina, we have such hardworking North Carolinians, and unfortunately sometimes there can be industrial accidents where people get hurt at work, and they're looking for workers' compensation benefits to make sure that they're able to provide for their family and pay the medical bills and pay their wages while they're out. And that can be a very frustrating process because insurance companies, we see it every day, they delay on prescription renewals, they delay on mileage checks, they delay on the payment of wages. So workers' compensation can be a frustrating experience. And we also help people that may have had a complex injury as a result of a failed medical device. One of the things that we're going to talk about on today's show is the Smith Nephew Resurfacing hip devices, implants, and surgeries that are going on, and some of the complications with that. So I would encourage folks that are out there that may have a medical device issue to stick around. We'll be talking about that with one of our attorneys who handles those cases, Whitney Butcher. So really, we're able to help people in all of those different types of situations, kind of fill out the full spectrum. And if it's a case we can't help you on, we're going to try to find somebody that you can talk to. We're going to try to give you some advice. That can be free advice. And I tell you, Drew, as many times as I'm on the phone during the day, there's probably 8 out of 10 people I'm telling that they don't need lawyers.
Really?
They don't need an attorney. But what they do need is good legal advice. So we're going to talk about that in today's show. We're also making ourselves available to you to call us, and the number is going to frequently appear on the screen there, but to call us and ask to speak to an attorney. If it's after hours, they'll get your information, and we'll call you back. And get that free legal information, because that could really make a difference.
And tell us what it's typically like when a potential client is calling the Whitley Law Firm for the first time. Maybe they were injured, a family member, maybe injured in an automobile accident. Typically, how does that conversation go when they first call and say, "I'd like to speak to an attorney"? What kinds of things do you talk about?
Sure. So when I take a phone call, I'm always interested in the facts, like what actually happened. Is this a workplace accident? Is this a motor vehicle accident? And then trying to get an understanding of how it actually happened. You know what I mean? Were there traffic citations involved? Maybe is there a drunk driver involved? Were you in an accident with a tractor trailer, commercial motor vehicle? And understanding what happened and a sense for the injuries that happened and how that person's doing now and how we can get involved to help.
One thing I've heard, Ben, I've heard your dad talk about, you as well, is in these cases, don't sign anything until you get legal advice. Right?
Yeah.
How important is that?
Well, it's real important because a lot of times, insurance company, one in particular that I'm aware of, will make phone calls to somebody that gets hurt as quick as possible, maybe even the same day. They'll even show up at the house. Sometimes
Really?
they'll have a piece of paper that says, hey, sign this, we'll take care of your medical bills and we'll pay you $500. Well, if an accident just happened, you don't know that there could be a latent injury, there could be an injury that's hiding, right? And you don't know, and you don't want to sign away your rights very early. And in a workers' compensation situation, same thing can happen, whereas the adjuster, the insurance company, may call you after a workplace, you get hurt on the job, and they say they want to get a recorded statement. And
really?
they will
recorded statement.
They will say a recorded statement. They'll want to talk to you about what happened, and they're going to be asking questions. They're not asking questions so they can figure out how to help you. They're asking questions so they can figure out how to deny your claim. Can they prove that it happened when you weren't on what's called a legal term, a course and scope of your employment? Can they say that if it was a back injury, you didn't know exactly when it happened? So they're looking for ways to ask questions to get out of paying for what they should be paying for. That's true both with workers' compensation claims, but also in car accident claims. Very often adjusters and insurance agents, not agents, but the adjusters for the insurance company will call people that get hurt in accidents and say, hey, let's talk about what happened, and you can tell me, we'll do a recorded statement if you just wouldn't mind, if you would agree that we recorded this statement, so they can type it up and have lawyers look at it to see if they can get out of paying what they're supposed to. Yeah, I mean, insurance companies are not charity organizations, right? They're not out there looking to do good. They are critical to our economy. We must have them. They're important. They protect businesses and people from situations that would otherwise could not afford.
Right.
But it's just been my experience, and maybe like my dad, I'm jaded, is that especially recently, it just seems like they go out of their way. Insurance companies go out of their way from paying benefits to people, and that's why we have jobs, and that's why we fight this fight, because who's going to talk for these people when the insurance company denies their claim?
When we come back, everybody has one of these today, right? So distracted drivers, we're going to talk about this a little bit. Also, pedestrian cases, and when pedestrians are involved in vehicular accidents, that's not a pretty thing. Back with more in just a moment. This is Attorneys on Call.